Welcome back to the news, everybody. So, Xbox are quietly killing free-to-play. Not really, but there is actually a point in that that's pretty damn crazy because of the way that they are evolving Game Pass and how they're actually including a bunch of free-to-play stuff in it now that technically is like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars / pounds / whatever currency in value. And it's kind of mental when you think about it.
Yeah, if you want to take a very specific, and this is not the very representative value, but it's something around, I think maybe $960, $970 worth of gameplay value in League of Legends alone on Game Pass. That's almost $1,000 that you could be giving Riot Games that instead you're giving Phil about a tenner and calling it a day.
And with a portion of those savings, you could, of course, head over to Steam and check out The Pale Beyond, our video game that you literally cannot buy yet. But hey, if you want a sort of Antarctic expedition survival role-playing game, that is in fact what we're making, and you can wishlist it and check it out. And now that I've seamlessly done a plug, respect to Papa Linus and everyone else who's so good at that, let's talk about this, because this is a really interesting move.
Yeah, it's kind of went sort of a little bit unnoticed as amongst all the game news this week. But it's that thing of Game Pass is now running on, I guess it's almost like a change of pace for who they're going for. Because they already have the market of, hey, we're releasing every valuable indie that we can bother speaking to on there, more or less. And also, hey, all of Xbox first party doesn't exist yet, but when it does exist, it will be here.
Yeah.
And now they're capturing this entirely different level of market of, oh yeah, we haven't got all the people who just play a couple of games continually. Let's go get them. And then they got Riot on the phone and must have given them millions. I don't know how much this would have been, but it was crazy.
So yeah, it's crazy. Now, for Riot, it is happening across League of Legends, Wild Rift, Runeterra, Teamfight Tactics, and Valorant. Which does actually mean that, there's 3 mobile games that now have got Game Pass content, right?
Yep.
So, okay, for the value proposition then. So starting 2023, if you're on Game Pass, you'll be able to play every single champ in League of Legends. That's about €700 as of 2019, right? Now, at that point, there was 145 champs in the game. Now it's 160, yep. So that's even more money, right? That's wild. It's almost to the point where I would not want to link up my account because I'd be so goddamn overwhelmed with all this stuff that I don't actually know how to play.
Yeah, exactly.
So basically, we're looking at about $940 worth of League of Legends champions. Kind of crazy to think of how expensive LoL is if you buy every champion, but then again, the game's not particularly designed for you to have every champion.
Yeah, there's also so many ways to get it a lot, kind of not literally cheaper. This is straight up just if you want to buy it outright value. Obviously through gameplay, through a bunch of different ways, you can get them cheaper and stuff like that. But that is just kind of the extreme base level raw value.
Yeah.
And that's League of Legends. That doesn't include anything from Runeterra, Teamfight Tactics, Valorant, or Wild Rift.
Yeah, so like that. On that for Valorant, it's every single agent, so that's their playable characters. TFT, it is select Little Legends Unlocked. It's the Foundation set for Runeterra, and of course, all champs for Wild Rift. So really, it's LoL, Wild Rift, and Valorant, where I think you truly are getting the value there. Yeah. So then you might ask, well, how can they just give away so much value? That seems insane. Well, no, they're not really giving it away. Yeah. Microsoft will have spent a lot of money for this. All right, so instead of giving Riot that money, you're getting access to it, $9.99 a month from Microsoft. So obviously, Microsoft is going to have paid Riot a hell of a lot for this.
Yeah.
Microsoft generally are pretty, they pay pretty good on Game Pass from what people generally understand. They also really benefit in a cross-population of audiences because what Microsoft gets here is a humongous incentive for every single League of Legends player to pick up Game Pass. Yep. Not every single, but a lot of them will see this as a pretty good deal, especially if they play the other games that are made by Riot. And now they're going to see all the other things that are on Game Pass. And one of the things we've learned from Game Pass is once people get in, they're more likely to spend on a Microsoft-owned platform. Yeah. At the very least, it's Microsoft getting $9.99 a month and capturing people's interest and playtime within their system.
Yeah, I guess a pretty interesting way to put it would just be right beside each other, there's the Riot theme park and the Xbox theme park, and now one ticket gets you access to both. So if you're in the Microsoft theme park already and you're enjoying all of the like little indie darlings, you're enjoying playing Halo Infinite despite whatever lack of content's there, you can just hop over and go, oh yeah, I might as well. Yeah, I'll give Wild Rift a go on your phone, especially if you're like, okay, well, I'm not really super enjoying, because say you don't have your controller with you or something, I'm not really super enjoying playing Halo Infinite on my phone, because that seems like a bad experience if you're just using the on-screen buttons. Maybe it's fine, but you go play Wild Rift, which is designed for phones. That's a good experience. Now Microsoft, Riot have just got a Microsoft player to now be a Riot player. And the door goes both ways there in a kind of crazy way.
It's also in a time when it strikes that will be a year after Arcane comes out and is just, everywhere. Arcane's getting a second season, of course. But that just means that that's a Riot property going out to a super broad audience. So again, they're just getting their name out there. That is super important in the context of the other things that they're working on, which would be a perfect fit for Game Pass, which are, of course, Project L, the fighting game, Project F, the MMO, and then, of course, the likes of Song of Nunu, Ruined King, all of those Riot Forge titles that are made by external development partners in collaboration with Riot.
Yeah, so I don't think any of those are like confirmed or anything yet, but that's the sort of stuff you could see happen very easily, where you talk about the theme park, and obviously,
perfect analogy.
Yeah, so you think you're in Riot, you think you're in the Riot theme park, thinking, well, I don't really have a reason to go over there, right? I don't really have a reason to buy the Microsoft ticket instead, because I have all the champions, maybe you're a diehard player, but then suddenly it's, here's all these 15, 20 quid indie games. You're like, wait, so they're 15 and 20 quid indie games, and I can play them all for a tenner a month, so I can just spend 1 month and play them for $9? $10? Hell yeah, fucking right.
For a lot of people, yeah.
Yep.
And there's another aspect here which I think we need to bring up, and that is that so much of the monetization in Riot Games is the sale of premium skins.
Yep.
Now, if you have access to every agent in Valorant and every champ in LoL, maybe you try a new agent, you try a new champ, you really like them, you get a skin. So while there is a degree of lost direct sales via the acquisition of this champions, what they will instead probably gain is a higher user participation in the purchasing of skins. And perhaps they do a deal like this with the knowledge that where they make their money primarily is on skins, not on selling champs. Now, I cannot verify that, but
certainly.
I think one would assume that.
Yeah, based on how they've adapted their model over the past 10 years, it's almost certainly the case. Almost certainly.
So there you go. You can see that, as much as they're getting that direct cash injection, this also could be really good for their long-term recurring revenue by just getting people more invested in more characters, which means further purchases. And this kind of brings us on to this Microsoft future, because they just keep on kind of hitting with the value here. Even though the delay of Starfield and Redfall means that Microsoft has no big title in 2022. So they have to lean really heavily on third party. And that is why they were just coming out so hard on Game Pass, in and around this sort of Summer Games Fest time. So they've got 50 games / title updates coming to Xbox / PC over the next 12 months. 39 of those are on Game Pass. And if you just look at it, that's a lot of things. Even take Naraka Blade Point. That's always up there in Steam.
Yeah, I'd love to give it a go, but I'm not,
Yeah, so quite a lot there. P5 Royale, that'll be there for one slice of people. Valheim coming to consoles, I think that'll be big enough for the console people. There just really is quite a lot, especially then when you hit 2023 and you've got Diablo, Redfall, Starfield.
Yeah.
That's just fucking big hitter, big hitter, big hitter. Additionally, all of the other, the Riot things, just the amount of value that keeps on coming there. Even the likes of an Ark 2 wouldn't appeal to me, but I know Ark is a massive game.
Yeah.
So that's their strategy.
And it's the crazy thing, talking about P5 in particular, P5 Royal, P3P, and P4G, and you're thinking, that's those games are going to Steam, because obviously Microsoft stuff. They're also going to the PS4 and PS5. Now, Xbox did apparently tell them to explicitly not say that on the Xbox show, which is fine, because it's kind of, you're paying for a little bit of informational advantage.
Yeah.
But the fact that there's a decent chance that, Atlas were like, hey, we've got these games, we don't really, could we be bothered? Because Atlas are seemingly the laziest publisher in the universe. And Xbox just showed up and said, hello, here is a stack of money. Would you like to make these games available to all the gamers in the world? They're like, I'm not going to be playing these likely on Game Pass. I'm likely going to buy these on Steam, or maybe even on PS5. And I'll just be playing the whole time thinking, I have Phil Spencer to thank for this. Jesus Christ.
And that's the crazy thing. So they're delivering all of this value. They're bringing in external audiences. So you get the cheaper version of EA Play included with your Game Pass. Is it Ultimate or is it just Game Pass in general?
I think it's Ultimate. I'm not super sure.
But Ultimate's the one that includes PC and console. I think a lot of people have that. So they're bringing over the EA audience. They're bringing over the Riot audience. And then, of course, you got to think about the ABK audience, right? So what happens if suddenly on Game Pass you are getting World of Warcraft stuff? Now, the thing there is that the WoW subscription is so great. And I think WoW has reached such deep penetration with people who are likely to pay WoW that I don't think it's ever going to make sense for... I just don't think it's going to make sense to put World of Warcraft on Game Pass financially. But what they could do is have some additional perks and benefits. Maybe a free mount, maybe a cosmetic, maybe the 6-month sub benefits, some parts of those, who knows. Of course, access to Warzone operators, the entire backlog of, Crash, Spyro, Call of Duty stuff. I mean, even with Call of Duty, they don't have to pull it from PS5. They could just make it day one in Game Pass and on PS5. In which case, you don't have to pay any extra money from what you're already paying.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly it. Where obviously the long-term goal would be, you want to starve your competitor's platform of all of this money and all of this, all of the sales from people excited by these franchises. But that's the super long-term move, but it's also a risky one. And something I think they've definitely put their foot in the sand. We're not going to do that for a long time. So the idea of them just going, do you want to buy it over there? Or do you want to have it on the house when you come in here? You're like, that's not... unless you have a PS5 and not an Xbox, which is going to be a large portion of the market. For anyone who's either got both or who's a PC and PS5, which obviously that's the patrician way to play video games, basically. It's it's not a choice.
Yeah.
The one is no money, the other one is lots of money. Which do you pick? I don't know.
And then even if you hit mobile, then you can have even more things. Now, I don't think there's a massive cross-pollination between the Candy Crush audience and the Game Pass audience, but you have a game like Diablo Immortal. You have Warcraft Arclight Rumble, right? So there are some games there called mobile as well. And if they're willing to give out freebies in Riot mobile games, would they be giving out incentives on mobile games that they own?
Almost certainly.
Right, it would make sense. So it's just this way that they can bring so many audiences. And of course, it would make complete sense for them to go as hard into mobile as they can because Game Pass Ultimate people can just play Xbox games on their phone. And I'm going to do a video on this later, but so I just have a phone, right? It's a thing called the Backbone. It's like a controller that snaps in. It kind of looks like a Switch, basically. Just that its joysticks are better than the Switch, its buttons are better than the Switch. It feels fantastic. I booted up Halo Infinite. Matt, I was honestly kind of stunned. Now, our internet's a little bit better than it had been in the past, but not much better. It's making me think that actually it's just the quality of their service that is now way better now that it's out of beta. But I was sitting there playing Halo Infinite. I played through the first level in heroic difficulty, and it just worked. There was a small amount of lag, I like to play FPS games on 100 hertz plus monitor. I found it acceptable to play on this. I booted up Elder Scrolls for Oblivion, which just received FPS boost, and it felt great on my phone. So the sort of person who could maybe get some freebies in a Diablo Immortal, maybe they get Game Pass, maybe they do the streaming, and maybe they actually start to play some real video games, which of course would be nice for Microsoft as well. So just this benefit of hitting multiple different audiences, cross-pollination, it is super, super powerful. And really that's the end game for Microsoft. They want to be everywhere. In fact, we don't have it in this doc, but it's one thing that's heavily rumored is they're going to make just like a little stick you plug into your TV for streaming, like a Chromecast. Basically, what the Chromecast is to Stadia, Microsoft can do that. Just that, unlike Stadia, just shed load of incredible games to play that are just something you already have because of Game Pass Ultimate.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't even. Yeah, it's another thing.
Samsung TVs.
The Samsung TV. Where now, if you, I don't know if it's now or if it's soon, but if you have a Samsung Smart TV after a certain range or age, whatever, you just have the Xbox app there, so you don't even need to buy any additional hardware. You just need to buy Game Pass, get your introductory month for £1, and you can stream all those games to your TV.
Yeah.
Which even as an idea of, I mean, this is going to be a kind of weird one, but if you are, say, an Airbnb owner, you get a Samsung TV and a controller, then someone who shows up just needs to have their own Game Pass.
Yeah.
And that's like a crazy idea for, maybe you're not going to walk around with a controller and nothing else, but if you have your phone and a controller, and then you're in an Airbnb or in even a hotel with a Samsung TV or something, and you're sat there going, well, I could play on my phone, or, oh, that's a Samsung TV. Yeah, I'll just play some Xbox games.
Or just,
that's crazy.
The landlord or whatever put the stick in the TV.
Or that, yeah.
And the thing, too, is even if the internet is not perfect in terms of your latency, there's loads of games that are fine with higher latency. Like if you want to play Yes, Your Grace, like a more text-driven game, maybe some management games, whatever. There's stuff that can be played that, these sort of game feel requirements are not the same as Halo Infinite, basically.
Yeah.
And all of those things can work really well, too. So it's a super strong strategy. They've laid the groundworks for a long time with Azure, with testing xCloud, building out their business relationships. They're definitely ahead of Sony on multiple fronts.
They have played the long game really, really well, despite all of the naysaying for quite a long time.
Yeah.
Because even then, it's like, even my own attitude has changed over time about streaming, where some of it is because I'm thinking more of the business realities as opposed to my personal, I'm a gamer, here are my feelings. But very much the case of, which, I think that's how a lot of people talk. That's how a lot of the gaming discourse is actually handled, which is kind of important to keep in mind. And I think that's completely fair. But to me, it's not, oh no, it's not these bastards are coming for my gaming experience. They're trying to make my gaming experience a thing of the past, even though it's better. Because all the jokes about CRTs being better than modern TVs up until very recently. So, gaming just had less input lag in the past than does now. But that's not actually true because games had worse input lag, but that's an entirely different topic. But the whole point being just, it doesn't have to take over. It's like a thing it can slot in additionally. It can slot in alongside. And now we're seeing that actually come to fruition in a business model that isn't abusive. Come to fruition in a business model that is properly additive. Where it's a case of, I could just play an Xbox game on my phone if I had that. And that's, I will say, because I like a certain persuasion of video games from one side of the planet, I'm already kind of happy with mobile stuff, with like the likes of Punishing Grey Raven and stuff. But if I were more interested in super Western games, then that's not a thing that Xbox catered to.
I mean, hey, it's Halo Infinite. It's on my phone.
Yeah.
If I just picked up my Backbone and snapped it in, I would be playing this. Yeah. And I have to do it up like here so I don't completely destroy my neck. I don't have Kinect, so I literally can't play it for you right now. Yeah. But the point is, I could start that up instantly, and it was actually really good and fun. And I was, to be very clear, I was very surprised at this fact.
Same.
Because the last time that I played one of these, even on xCloud, it didn't have the game feel that I wanted. Yeah. And it happened. So there you go. That's the strength of Microsoft's model. I'm pretty bullish on it, and I think we'll just have to wait and see how many of these Riot people actually come over. But certainly it is interesting to see this damn industry evolve. I know that much. So
that's for sure.
That's it from us. If you would like to check out our game in Steam, if you're kind of there for a more... it's definitely a brutal game. Also a sort of cozy game. Ain't out yet, of course. But, if you want to check it out, wishlist it, watch the trailer, look at some of the things, you can check out the Steam page down below. And with that ask done, thanks. Hope you enjoyed today's video. I'll see you next time.